Hello and welcome to the next episode of the Disaster Series, which is right, this Lego room and of course my life. Now this is going to be a big one. We're going to be moving 3 of the biggest sets that I own in here to make potentially a new shelf display. So we have to figure out where that is going to end up, what we're going to do with the sail barge, and a 3/4 built 8080 because I need to get it on the shelf first before the panels fall off, just to see if it'll actually fit. But what we have done in previous uploads, the last bit that we did was having a good attack at the Winter Village display. The minifigures are slowly starting to be added, and we have made some more little dioramas by the carol singers and things like that. Now the stuff that is over on this side, we have got a Harry Potter section underway over here, as you guys and girls already know, and then we've got bits and pieces over here, which, well, this nearly destroyed me doing this one, but a bit more light in the situation. We are slowly getting there. Now this shelf, once this is done, is going to lead into a lot of other uploads and videos. So depending on how we finish this one will depend on what I do next, because we have got space underneath, once I've tidied it, to do different bits and pieces. I want to make a display where this thing is currently stood anyway, which actually involves the haunted house and the Natural History Museum and some of the vintage classic Lego sets, which I want to discuss with you at the end of this video, because would you like a parallel series running next to the Disaster series of doing actual more vintage displays within? So it actually starts to look more like a theme park where each zone is themed that little bit better. So that's the stuff that we've done in the past, but the focus point is this. Now we're going to be talking paint colours, backdrops, all sorts of different bits and pieces of what we are going to do within this top triangle. Now obviously that means moving everything and putting everything on the shelf, and with the disasters that happened in 2024, this really is a big risk starting this in 2025. But with that being said, let's get to it. So we have got some big sets in the collection. We've got the Loop Coaster, we've got the Avengers Tower and all of that kind of thing. They're not moving. It is just going to be these 3 sets for now to see what the plan is. So as we are doing this, I need you guys and girls to visualize what would be a better backdrop, because this potentially could just stay. The problem I've got with this is you can see it is exactly to the roof, so we have to make a display to the left or to the right, and everything that I have tried, because of how steep the roof drops, it's just a nightmare. Because the last plan before Christmas was to actually do this shelf of just castles and things like that, but the castles are too tall. They're taller than 2.5 bricks, and they hit this bit, we lose loads of space. This is the D&D set, and that's as far as it can go over. The flag actually fell off, so with the flag on top it doesn't even fit there. So the D&D is going to be rehomed, and that's actually going to go over in our Thrill Seekers section, shall I say, and it's going to be part of our Marvel / DC display, because I'm going to start merging all of these little bits and pieces, because we've got the Loop Coaster, the Ferris wheel isn't here, I haven't got that, but I have got the carousel, and then we've got the really nice red coaster. Potentially the X-Men will go in there, but like I said, things can be moved with stuff coming out, but it all depends on how this shelf finishes. But the D&D has to move regardless. So what I'm going to have to do to start with is put the D&D underneath the shelf. Now you're going to notice I'm going to run out of space very, very quickly, because these things are so big. So I'm going to have to put up the spare table is going to have to go where I'm stood currently. You're literally going to live up here. So I have absolutely no idea if that's too close. As he falls over one of the boxes, you're on the Loop Coaster. Now you're on the track there. I wonder if it would be a bit better on the string. So hopefully you are now bird's eye view of basically dropping everything. So you're gonna be able to see stuff come on and off the shelf, but not the chaos of it landing on the ground. So I will just get the D&D stuff out the way to start with. Now this is another reason why the Winter Village display didn't exactly go as planned, because I thought about making dioramas where I am now, which is this bit just here, And of course I actually need this space, don't I? So I was a bit naive, and I think I've done it in the wrong order, but if you did catch that upload, this idea actually formed in the second part of the Winter Village display. So things like that tend to happen quite a bit. Now obviously, I say this every single time to cover myself, the Jabba sail barge is on the wrong coloured base plates. I know they're not supposed to be on white. I just don't have any tan whatsoever. And I just wanted to know how many base plates to give it. Yes, okay, I know I got the sail barge day one. I've not done anything with it since, with regards to actually making an attempt to sort that out. But we are here at the moment, so we can just plod on and figure all of this out as we go. But we have got lots to move, lots to do, lots to plan, lots to play with, and it's going to be interesting. And as for, like I said, as we go, I just need to know, what do you prefer? Do you prefer number 1, 2 or 3? So hashtag Disney, hashtag Hoth, or hashtag, hang on, I am trying to concentrate on here, Tatooine. Because what I was saying about the backdrops and all the other little bits and pieces like that, the paint would match. Obviously it looks nice with the sky. I don't know, to be honest, if I can paint that wall again at the top. I might just try and get some sort of backdrop where it's not touching the brick. I'll keep this bottom bit blue because obviously this is going to be its own completely separate display. But this thing up here, well, it's its own thing. So I'm going to have to get tape measures out. We're going to have to figure out exactly what height we can go to with regards to the tail end of this. And we've got a lot of measuring and different bits and pieces to do. So it's going to be an interesting one. So I might as well utilise that shelf best I can at the moment. Figure out what we can do with this, because realistically, if we're going to put that up there first, that has to move to here for me to put the table on, and then that goes on the table. And I think the sail barge should be simple enough to move. And looking at the height of that, I think that'll fit anywhere. But what we're going to have to figure out with the sail barge is how high are we going to need the timber. Now obviously I'm not going to cut any more timber or do anything stupid like that if we don't think Tatooine would work. But if this was all painted with the 2 suns on, it would look nice. But if you did catch the last episode, I said, oh yeah, well, it'd be nice if we could put a shelf in and do all the drops. But then also, in case you missed it, I also did say that I don't think this wall is strong enough to be able to do that. So even though I think visually a Tatooine display would look perfect, we've only got this bottom shelf to do. So we're going to have to try and utilise the height with bringing it up, which is always a weird and wonderful thing. So I think you're in prime location to see the AT-AT come in. Oh, it's so annoying. I don't know if I'm going to try and put the AT-AT straight on the shelf and then get that off, because I know what's going to happen. The AT-AT is going to go here, and I've got to try and get the Disney Castle over the top of the AT-AT, because the AT-AT is actually taller than the shelf that you are stood on. So there's games. We're playing games at the moment, and it's going to get messy very, 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 very quickly. So tape measure. Tape measure, tape measure, tape measure. What is the back end of this? Under 2 foot. The peak is 2 foot. So where you are currently isn't even 2 foot. Fantastic. That is unbelievably deceiving. That is a worry. So let me spin you around onto this section so you can actually now... Actually, this loop coaster up here is quite handy, especially for doing this. If I ping you over like that, you are definitely going to fall off this. I know exactly what's going to happen. Right, so the highest point of this AT-AT, as it stands right now, mind, because it's not completely finished, is smack on 2 foot, give or take a couple of studs. Now, 2 foot by this, so it will go here in the middle, it will go to here. So I have got probably, if this roof is level, in between that bit and in between that bit. I actually thought I'd have a little bit more space than that, only that middle section. I don't forget the head is long. The bum is actually quite surprisingly tall. It does drop off. It does drop off to about 22.5. So if he was walking this way, that's 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So it's literally to the outer edge of the castle. So it's to there. Now obviously the Jabba sail barge, we haven't got a problem, because obviously that would just go. But what I'm trying to get at in the long-winded way around it is my idea of putting, actually can, I don't think I can. As I was about to say, I don't think it's going to work, because this is also very, very long. So it's 50 without the head. So 50's there. I'll be tight. Might commit. I think I'm going to commit and just hope for the best, because I am a bit stuck otherwise, because I'm going to have to make a little bit more space for the Disney Castle, because the Disney Castle base is enormous. So I am now cupping this massive AT-AT, which needs a name. We have to name it. You can see by the shadow. Look at the shadow coming through. It's huge. No, not a chance. Look, nowhere near. It's got some weight to it as well. So that was just naive. That's never, ever, ever, ever going to happen. So hopefully now, if you actually have this set, you will realise how deceiving and how steep the drop is in my ceiling. So this has to be clear. So this is display number 1. So option number 1, hashtag Disney. Does it work? If it does like that, I did have Main Street USA, like we tried at the theme parks before, which involved the modulars, and I just didn't like the modulars being massively split up. So in case you're wondering, oh, what about that idea? I will try and cover stuff that we've already tried, because we've got the Doctor Strange linked in. It's quite nice that you've got, well, we'll have the full-blown diorama on the back with this obviously going up, so you can have like a little show battle type thing. You've got all of these pinging in this way. That one will go where this is. The road carries on. X-Men Mansion in the middle. Lovely, thank you very much. And then that's basically complete. Then we've got obviously the assembly square, Jazz Club. Then it comes around where the file is rendering for the previous video. We've got all of those wrapped around it. But the haunted house is coming out, and the history museum will come out as well. Now, the big thing, and I'm not trying to delay tactics, is where this goes, because this is obviously very, very tall, so it can only really go on this table, and I'm assuming and I'm hoping it will fit where the AT-AT is. But for now, obviously, I'll just put it on the thing just there. So yeah, it's going to be a bit of an interesting one. So let me put it back there. Let me move my juice. Right. Good. I've got live batteries and duff. They need to be recharged. They can go on my phone. Be amazed how quickly I go through these batteries. Right, I'm going to have to move this again. Put that there. The amazing thing is, it doesn't take up that much space. It's just very, very tall, which I really, really like. I don't know now what you can see. You're probably blocking my own face off, which is probably, well, it's an advantage for everybody, isn't it? Let's be honest. If you can't see me, then it's all good. Right. So my makeshift table, which is very sturdy, will go here, and it goes over like so. Now he says it's very, very sturdy. I have got all the minifigures in the way currently, so it definitely won't be sturdy. So we are good. Twisted. It's twisted again, but I think we're all right. So I can't get I can't get the castle. Oh, I might be able to. No, I can't, because if I was to twist the AT-AT round, it would fall off the table. So this is going to have to go back on the table. it's going to have to go on the other table. And then that now is going to have to come off and go over here, and then we start the game. So what do we do? We'll do the same thing for the sail barge. I'll probably do that as a time lapse, just so it's a little bit quicker. I thought we just get the first one up so you know how long it takes, and then just to try and speed up the process a little bit. I know you guys and girls enjoy watching this fall apart. But how this is going to end, it's going to end with this back up here, because I've got nowhere to put it at the moment. That's why it's very much dependent on what happens on this shelf. Oh, I do not like moving this. This is, the base of this is so thin. Half of it's already dangling off the shelf. Can't remember how I put this up. I'm hoping. Oh, it's been a minute since I've moved this. It's been a good while, let me tell you. And I guarantee it'll be covered in brick dust at the back. This can go one of two ways. Start at 2025 and we're off. Problem I've got is my turning circle, because I'm going to hit the ceiling. Oh, I don't like that. I don't like that. Right, well, putting these two side by side for reference, it's not far off. So I had to remove the flag from up here, which I thought was clever and put on there. Clearly I didn't, so that'll have to be found. What a beautiful thing that is though. I was very, very lucky, I say this story all the time, that I went to Disneyland, Florida, saw it in the opposite colour. Then, as I went back, the scaffolding was going on it. So they're obviously in the process of redoing it for their anniversary. And then it was like this, with the different displays. So, out of the two, I'm glad they redid it, because I've got some very, very good memories of, this. Now, that's the space it takes up. God, this wall is in a hell of a state. Right, so blank canvas, minus the dragon. But I don't think the dragon's going to cause, well, it might. I say, might not cause too many issues, but what does this 8080 look like up here? So, I think you're in a good bit. Slight heart attack, because the table just moved as this went. I really hope this does fit. Oh no, his hips come off. Oh, what's going to happen? I said, Lego and Technic, when you try and move it, it does not work. And that's what everybody does not show you. The bits and pieces of, oh yeah, it's perfect. No, it's not. Never is, it never is. Right, these. I knew there was going to be a little bit of an overhang. I just don't want his legs that close. Right. That's good. That is good. So the legs now are side by side. Now I've obviously got the tall to do different bits and pieces. And I could have him crouching on his knees. But would that work as a display? So what does that look like as I take a step back? Is that powering enough? I should have taken a photo of that up there and then done it with this, because now I can't compare. That's going back up anyway, so I did the photo last. So that is what that looks like up at the top. We can make a nice display around it. If I crawl underneath the table, it might be a better thing. So I'm going to go under. You're going to stay there looking at that. I'm going to crawl underneath here. And up it comes. Now obviously, imagine the wall change colour, imagine it fully complete. Do we build the whole thing? Obviously it's got its head on. The bum can move over half a brick. I think. So by mistake, I think that is practically smack on the middle of the shelf. But if the head's too big, we can obviously then move it over the other way. But if that was a snowy mountain backdrop with all of the little sets around it, would that look powering enough? Because look at the state of this with just the dust that's coming out of those. It's just literally falling out the brick. So that is option number one. Option number two would be the sail barge. So I think what I'll do is I'll move, what might I do it now? I'll move the sail barge and then we'll start to figure out what is what. So let me crawl back underneath. Ow. I don't even know what I got hit by, but that hurt. I'll guess we'll put you there roughly. You can see some sort of disaster happening just there. Right, that's some part of his hip, or hers, or whatever we end up naming this thing. Right, that's sturdy. The table, it's wobbly. So this is the thing. So this is the next thing to go up. I think we're going to be okay for height with regards to everything. I'm not too worried about that with regards to it going across the bottom. Obviously, we want it high up. It's got to go in the middle like everything. This is going to be a little bit more tricky with regards, I think, to display, because we've got the two big powerful bits. This one is the one I'm unsure of, because I think it looks lost underneath that, and I think it needs more focus on it. So I don't know if it just needs to go underneath the table or it needs to be up high, like high, and it's going to have to be 1, 2, 3, 4, those 4 bricks where that bit is where I think it's going to need to go. And there should be no drama, he says, with me actually picking it up, because this thing is pretty sturdy. But then at the same time, this is me, so I'm just currently closing all the flaps on it. And the issue I've got is this obviously went in first, and now I'm trying to take it out. So I've got it, I've got both hands on it, we're good. There it is. Now if you've got this, well, you know how big it is, but without any height on that at all, that looks lost. Now of course, if you had the sandcrawler and other bits and pieces, you can do it. Now I cut up these bits of wood here just because I had a big board of it. I've got plenty more of it, and it's the correct width of this. I'm not building this up on Lego bricks, and I'm sure there's a better way of doing it with Technic bits and pieces like that, but this would have to be up much higher. And if it went up much higher, I don't know, with this being on the timber, because I can't put a shelf in, I don't know if the canteen is going to fit. This would have to be up higher and over. So I'm going to have to move this over and get the cantina up and just see if it will work for length. But cantina is so diddy. It's a perfect minifigure scale. It's perfect. But I think it's going to look lost up here. I think the backdrop looked the nicest, but it's going to be the hardest thing to display. But again, I mean, like, you would see all of this, he says, obviously when it's higher, there we go, it'll be raised up. You could potentially have the pit could go in between the actual bits, so you could have its own diorama underneath it as well. So that's not lost, because you can see the gap that you've got just here, and this would obviously fit on that shelf, he says. Like so. So yeah, there's no problem with that fitting on the shelf. It's just a case of will will the cantina fit? So let's get this cantina up, and then what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn the camera off a little bit, grab a drink, and then I can have a think myself, and then I've got to make a decision of what the better thing is to do. Now, of course, I've just forgotten to take a photo. Oh, it doesn't make a difference. I forgot to take a photo of the 8080 as well, didn't I? So, if that went there, eyeballing the cantina will fit and this will come back, but I still think the cantina's going to look lost. I think it's going to look lost anyway. I don't think this is going to work. So I think this will have to move, because this will go into the new undisplay. If we think Hoth is going to work with the white across the back and we can do something with it, this will have a beautiful display underneath the table. And obviously this is our calf bit. Now I'm actually thinking, hang on, I'm getting carried away already. So if this doesn't work, we do have a shelf here. Now would that fit on that shelf? So it's flying above Tatooine. I guarantee that shelf is not high enough, or it's too high, and the sails will hit the top, because that would save so much space, because this is actually the same width left to right as this shelf. It's just not the same depth, which is back to front. Now the legs on this are dinky, so if I can get this, so it wouldn't have to be raised, we've got options then of having the cantina underneath it, beside it. We could have just above, and then we could actually make a drop display on the other bits and pieces, like these bits of timber. So the other ship, this ship could be flying high instead over the pit. So we might have more options for display underneath, but like I said, easily get carried away. This might turn into quite a long upload, so I do apologise, but like I said, I just want to get this done correctly. I want to make really nice displays in 2025. Now, I'm taking a massive gamble, massive gamble picking it up like that. Never pick it up like that. It's a stupid way of doing it. Now I know the front's too long. Not bad. It's not too bad actually. So obviously, you can see what the problem is now, because that ideally wants to go on a shelf, but I can't put a shelf up. It's just not going to happen on this wall. You can see the gap that we had in between of those three, which means we could have this, or the pit. Like I said, the pit would fit in there. But that's it. That's what you're getting. And if I crawled back underneath the table, underneath these two huge things, if I knock this table, I think that 8080 is going to fall over. So let's hope that is not the case. Right, I'm through, to your disappointment. Oh, it's far too small. Taking a step back now, look, it's far too small. And we've lost all the ceiling height. It seems silly. So I think we're down to two. We're down to this one or this one. So do we commit, go full Hoth, or do we go Disney? I will grab a drink. I will sort some bits and pieces out and have a think. And I'll do a little bit of research with regards to maybe what kind of backdrops you can get. Because I don't want it just white, because that just looks boring. So there's something that we must be able to do. So looks like Tatooine's going underneath. Tatooine's going underneath. There might be something I can actually do. I might be able to put this castle in situ, because I will have to. I'm going to have to do this a really weird and wonderful way, because I think what I'm going to have to do, if we're going to commit to Hoth, this, obviously I can't have this set up with this table staying like this, so I'm going to have to put this where the Tatooine was. So the Tatooine can stay up on the shelf. I'll clear that bit off, take the Hoth out, put this over there, then put those bits that I've thrown over there back on this table. The two big bits come onto this table, while then he goes back up onto that shelf, and then it's all in place rough. And then that just leaves as if the sail barge will fit on that shelf. So that'll be the next plan of attack, which more than likely will be a time lapse. Right, so as you can see, I actually forgot to catch back up with you before the time lapse. You can blame Jay's Toy Collection UK because I was actually speaking to him at the time. Now, we have come up with a colour palette. That is the hardest thing to try and come up with, and we have got reasoning behind it. So we are going to go with the Hoth display up top, and hopefully that's what you guys and girls agree with regards to, well, I say Hoth display, the AT-AT display up top. Now, the colour, it has to be painted white first because it needs to be treated again, and I do want to try and get these bricks treated. Now, the problem is it can't stay white. I know Hoth is white and yada yada yada, but the floor's white, which means this bit here will go white. We will have the base plates just there, white, so that is perfect. And then it's going to be a different colour for the back. Now we're bouncing ideas around. We're going, do we do a Rebrick the World and have it as like a green? So it's an Easter egg to the Lego Disney Rebrick the World series where everything is completely wrong. And then we started to put minifigures against bits and pieces. Now this blue, it's slightly annoying because it kind of, well, it's hard to see this stuff, basically. It's quite difficult to see the bits and pieces and it's all small and yada yada yada. So we're going to flip the colours around and we're going to go orange for the top. So that bit up here is going to go orange. This orange bit will then go blue, and it'll be blue all the way down the side. Now the next display underneath it, well, it's going to go like a really, really nice yellow. So there's going to be a double display going on this now. The top one, you can see what it's going to be. The bottom one, well, it will start to unfold as we carry on with this because we've got the top shelf sorted. All I'm doing, as you can see, is just moving the big sets. That's all this is going to be. The video's not going to be too much longer. Moving the big sets, and then we'll have a mess around with the smaller bits and pieces. But we've got the X-Wing here. So plan is if we can get this built, it'll go up on one of those screw holes against the back wall, and then it'll be good to go. Obviously, this needs to be built first, and the painting will take forever because it's going to take about a week per coat for it to dry, because it's just going to be so cold up here for the next few months. And then we've got, obviously, all the battle packs. So that is easy enough. Now, the first port of call is going to be this, isn't it? Because this has to move. But what we were discussing before of where the Disney castle goes, it's now going to go in a completely different place. Oh, pumpkin. Because, oh, it's hard to climb underneath that table. Did you consider I've got a towel over the top just to try and keep it warmer downstairs? It's freezing cold up here. And she's climbed up the ladders and underneath the towel. She doesn't want to go back down. She's just chilling out. So as I was saying, the Disney castle. Now the plan for this, all underneath here, was going to be across 2025, a slow burn Star Wars display. Now underneath here, we actually painted it probably about 10 months ago now. It's got a glitter metal flake on the inside of the paint, and it was a perfect Tatooine colour. Well, Tatooine. And I've cleared the shelf space ready to see if that's going to fit. But the Disney castle will fit on this side, and obviously these are just storage containers, boxes, other little bits and pieces, so that'll be easy enough to come out, which then allows us to do a different display on this table, because with how powerful that looks, we think it would look lost underneath the table. You just wouldn't see it on camera. That's what it's to do with. If I can see it, but there's another set that I would like to get here, which I call the massive block of cheese, which is the Venator, and we can make a really nice display underneath the shelf. Now the Venator will go against the yellow because, well, it's the type of clones that get used for certain regiments and yada yada yada, and it is also the minifigure that comes with this. So you get 2 minifigures only with that, and one of them is a clone in yellow. Now the reason why the top is going to go orange is because of the orange suits that these guys wear. But not only that, if you put the white against that orange, the white, well, it pops. Doesn't pop so much against the blue, but it really pops against the orange. So it's going to go orange, yellow, and then it's going to be different colours for underneath. Now, hopefully you like it. If you don't, I'm still going to do it and see what it looks like. But there is method to the madness with regards to orange uniform, yellow uniform that they wear. So it'll be quite interesting to see. And then underneath that we have got the pretty much the correct colour for the 2 suns for Tatooine. Now, focus point is now going to be, I did say this was going to be Ninjago January, and it's, well, like I said, not actually touched anything from Ninjago, but doing all of that at the back, I think it looks nice. So I have made space on the shelf, and I want to see if this will fit. So this big box is in the way. Taken all the other bits and pieces down, and for now all I'm going to do is see if it will fit on the shelf and then put it back, because the stuff that's on the floor obviously all needs to come out the way, and then I do need, if I'm going to start doing a display, to put a timber down or a table or something for now. So let's see what this does. Plonk this down underneath. It's going to be close, but I think it'll go fine. Yep. Laughing. So there we go. So that is underneath there. You can see, I know it's dark. It's all going to have some lights underneath. But for the height and things like that, it works. So I just want to utilise heights of things. And obviously with a nice little bit of lighting, either stuck to the inside here facing forward, or strip lights, I think we should be good to go. But this will go in the corner that side, which will allow us to have a display in the middle. Depending on how big the display is in the middle, we'll then have a display in this corner, and then we might have another display there before we even get to the Disney Castle. So there's a lot to carry on with underneath the tables, but this will allow us to have a little bit more wiggle room, a little bit more sort of display space and things like that. Now, I've just said that'll come up. To be honest, I think it's safe enough that it can just stay there. It's a shame that's just going to be hidden there, but we know it's there if you're watching this video. So let's move some of these bits and pieces, because obviously if I don't put anything on the floor, I can just crack on. But this table that I'm putting the stuff on is in my way, because I've got to crawl underneath it all the time, which is a bit of a pain in the backside. But there are sets that I do want over this year. The only thing, and I'm glad I stopped, is where the tree house is here for this display, and it's literally the video that I have just done. And it's quite funny because the video that I've just done that came up with this idea is now stopping me from doing what I was going to do, and it's now made it a bit more of a headache for the Winter Village display, because I thought I had 6 base plates for the Winter Village and now I don't. That's whole back wall is going to be taken up with the block of cheese. So that big Venator where went into a big sale on Black Friday and I was ill and I missed it, so I am going to wait until it drops into another huge sale before I even contemplate getting anything, because, well, it's just the best way to do it. And you can see all the brick dust that's on there. That needs a good clean. So that can go on at the table, and that can all be cleaned up later. Now, I am gonna, well, it's gonna be a struggle, to put it politely, because this thing that's about to come up is massive, and this wasn't even in our radar for today, but I just need to see if this will fit. So like I was saying before, Pumpkin decided to try and play kamikaze by jumping down onto the towel. Terrifying. This big thing down here, if it would fit up here. Now I'm just going to put it here to see if it will work, and then I think this is the one that actually will then have to move again, because it's all going to have to be base painted and whatever else. But yeah, they're all going to have to sort of swap and do different bits. Now, bad feeling, that's the stand for it, but we took it off the stand because it kept breaking, didn't it? Every time we tried to put this thing on the stand, it was not happy. But this is the clone, and then you do get Mr. Samuel Jackson himself. Mace is down here somewhere. There he is. Purple lightsaber is somewhere, maybe down here. Of course it's not in its hand because it's pinged out, but it'll be there somewhere. So in separate videos we'll be having a look at just things like this and other bits and pieces where things can go, but I thought, well, to be able to do everything in one hit, the set that's about to come up needs to work. Because if it can't fit, then it might be a bit of a rethink. So let's have a look at this massive thing, because this gunship honestly is ridiculous. And me trying, if you could see how I'm trying to get this out from underneath the table. What an idiot. Oh, I just hit the coaster. Just hit the roller coaster twice. So this gunship is enormous. Like, enormous. But can I get it to fit? It'll be tight. It will be tight. So the other ball, oh, there it is, it's just fallen off. I've just knocked them. That is those two just here. So, Clone Wars display on this table. This is taking a turn out for the book, so I just wanted to see what would fit up at the top, but we've managed to sort out the order of displays, which now means I can just keep attacking either a full display at a time or whatnot. But we've got a Hoth-esque display up top, we've got a Clone Wars underneath. This is all from, I've said this multiple times now, the Legoland Windsor walkthrough, which they had indoor. And the colours represent, obviously, the paths and things that they did. So there was where they had the big battle in the lava. They had the lava floor, and then they had all the other little bits and pieces like that as well. So with the Order 66, with all the other clones and things. But I've got boxes of stuff ready to go. So I've got all the people packs ready. This display's been a long time coming. So I've got all the people packs ready to go. So the actual Hoth, if I could paint it quick enough, would be the first one to be done. Then I'd obviously have to paint the next bit yellow, which is absolutely fine. And then just wait for the actual main piece to go in, but everything else to be in front of it, so all the smaller ships and things like that can be built, which is fine. I've got a bag of little ships in here to build up. The Tatooine, which now can literally go in straight away, possibly would be the first display to be done. Now underneath the table I can actually drill into these bricks, so I can put another shelf underneath this if required, so we could have a shelf in the corner. So if we wanted anything like this or whatever, we can actually do all of that. But that's all the Tatooine stuff. Now, I haven't got another tabletop. I have got spare legs, and I have got a couple of I've got 2 smaller tabletops, the 55 by 55 centimeters, I think they are. So that will happen, and I just have to put them down first, because ideally I need some thin MDF, and just to put that down underneath, and we'll be good. If it's just exactly the same depth with the same cut that went around the wall, and it could go that way a little bit, will be absolutely fine. But seeing that up top will now allow me to figure out what exactly is the best thing to do, because it can sit on the stand, but I think it looks nicer on the ground. Now, that is obviously its own complete discussion and display, but to be able to actually complete or even attempt this display, the Dungeons and Dragons stuff will have to be rehomed. The D&D set can't be rehomed until the Natural History Museum moves and the Haunted House moves, and that's going to go on this table, but I can't do anything on this table until the Tatooine stuff's off. So it looks like I'm either going to go top and bottom and can't do anything to the middle just yet, but it won't be long until that'll be really, really neat and tidy. I can pull the stuff off and potentially just, actually I could put it in the middle just over there, so no, it will go, so that's not too much of a problem. So in the next couple of uploads, it looks like we're going to be having different bits and pieces, because when the paint's drying up at the top, rather than just dragging it out as one bit, I can then mess around with the other bit. But I don't know the best way of doing it. I don't know whether to do one complete area, it's done, then move on to the next bit, it's done. Underneath, the paint's already there, so that's not a problem. It just needs a little bit of patching up. I have the orange to go there, and I've got the blue to go there. As long as it's not gone off, it should be fine, hopefully. The inside of the wall, I don't know whether to paint that bit white so it matches, so it just looks like it's white, or the inside of the wall here goes orange to match the back, and it wraps around, which is a potential. And like I said, this will all be blue, which will look nice, but yeah, be a nice powerful orange just up at the top. And we want a really nice roller coaster track yellow, because I picked the yellow, which should have been the same darkness as the green and the orange, and it came out like that, which I've never been happy with anyway. So it'd be nice to redo all of that, so I could have a painting upload and it's all just chaos and moving everything around. So I am not 100% sure on what is next, but what I am going to do is I'm going to end the day now, see how long this upload is, because I don't actually know how long the upload is, come back up and just double check that I've not missed anything underneath, which I don't think I have. Sleep on it to make sure that is the best decision, and then we'll either move 1 or 2 bits and pieces before we wrap it up, or we'll just wrap the video up in the morning. So today is a new day. I've had a look on the floor if there's anything else large that needs to come up, and I think we are completely done. Now there is a lot of bits and pieces that I need to sort out on the floor with regards to boxes and other little bits and pieces like that. I'm gonna need some sort of walk room. Now I'm in two minds. I'm in two minds whether to tidy up as I literally wait for the paint to dry, or tidy up first, then paint, and then I've just got to wait for the paint to dry, which seems a bit of the wrong way round to me. But I think what I'm going to have to do is prep certain bits, because it's all, everything that's orange on that side will have to have be repainted over in white. Same thing with all the brickwork, that'll all go white. It's a stain remove paint, and it's a damp thing as well, because this back wall is awful. And then it's just a case for the colour. Now I've got the blue can go on straight away, because I've got, for some reason, another 2 tubs of that blue. I think I got a bit carried away with that. I must have used more orange than what I thought, because I haven't got enough to do this wall in orange. I don't think. It'll be tight, but it definitely won't do 2 coats, which is a little bit of a shame. So it means I'm going to have to go out and get some orange, and I might as well look for some yellow at the same time, and then potentially do both of these walls at the same time. So you know what is going to be coming now in the next few uploads. Once the paint is on the wall, we can then actually start making some really nice dioramas. But I have got a lot to move on this bottom table, and I've somehow got to clear that top shelf with the 8080 and things, and I have got a bit of a problem because obviously I've got all the Tatooine stuff and I've got the Disney castle there and all that kind of thing. So I basically, as normal, boxed myself into a corner where I've now got no space, and now I'm about to start another huge project. Now I'm not too sure how I'm going to be able to reach the back wall, to be honest, because this table is so big. I don't know. I climbed up on there last time, and we have just made this Winter Village display. I don't particularly want to have to move it all, so I think there's going to be quite a lot of prep. It's annoying that it's on the side that I've literally just done over Christmas and start of the year, but it's for a good cause because it's all going to change. So again, in that comment section, do you agree with the paint colour? Do you think this is the right thing to do for the displays? There will be a couple more uploads, I think, maybe one upload before the paint starts going on the wall. So you've got time to quickly write if you think it needs to be a different colour. But honestly, guys and girls, I think that is it, and we are done for this upload. So if you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, that'd be absolutely fantastic. Again, feedback below in the comment sections. What else am I missing for the Hoth display? What else am I going to be needing for the Clone Wars display? And then we've got a lot of displays that are going to be going underneath the table. So some exciting bits and pieces to happen at the start of 2025. But as always, thank you very much for watching. You lot take care, and I'll catch you next one. Ta-da.